Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Arundhati Ramnan, and with me as always, Shruti Mishra. These are the top headlines from the startup world. Banking software provider Zeta gets $50 million from American healthcare company Optum. The SoftBank-backed startup will be valued at $2 billion after this investment, up from $1.45 billion when it last raised capital in 2021.
IXP, a life sciences VC backed by JV Ventures, announces the launch of its first fund to invest in early-stage companies. Fund aims to build portfolio of B2B companies ranging from pre-seed to Series A stages. The IXP Life Sciences Catalyst Fund is targeting a corpus of 200 crore rupees with a green shoe option of 100 crore rupees. Fund plans to create a portfolio of 20 to 25 companies.
Mobility startup Rapido announces its first ever ESOP liquidation program for current and former employees. The startup says that this program is generating 5 times growth while providing wealth creation opportunities.
No one holds the key to our collective future and shared destiny other than us humans.
Prime Minister Modi pitches India's AI story in Paris, says AI is writing the code for humanity, bats for developing open source systems that enhance trust and transparency.
Top private equity investors are bullish on India even amidst the market correction, but remain wary of valuations, and some IPOs are being put on the back burner.
Two senior partners are leaving P15. Managing partner Shailesh Lakhani, a 17-year veteran of the investment firm, and Abhik Anand, who co-led investments in Southeast Asia, decided to step down. Lakhani confirmed his departure from the venture capital firm through a post on micro-blogging platform X.
Elon Musk and a group of investors make an unsolicited bid of over $97 billion to take control of ChatGPT maker OpenAI. Sam Altman quickly rejects the offer and mocks Elon Musk by offering less than $10 billion to buy Twitter.
Well, those were the headlines we've been tracking for you this evening on What's Brewing. New age cross-border workforce mobility platform BorderPlus has raised $7 million in funding round led by Owl Ventures and participation from prominent entrepreneurs including Binny Bansal, Mithun Sacheti, Ritesh Agarwal, Akash Chaudhary and Apurva Patni. Now, this marks BorderPlus's first institutional or external funding round, and to tell us how the fresh funds will empower BorderPlus's mission to streamline international career opportunities for skilled Indian workers. Joining me now is its co-founder Mayank Kumar. Mayank, welcome back to Startup Street. First, tell us the pain point that you're solving with BorderPlus. What is the big mission? And you've moved from upgrad, which is EdTech, to now global talent mobility with BorderPlus. What made you bet big on this space?
So, Shruti, first of all, thank you for having me here. See, the thesis was very simple. I think at Upgrad, we do a lot of work in the context of white-collar skilling and helping people get the right job in India and globally. But I always felt that there was a massive space in the blue and gray collar opportunity and sort of folks who are in the blue or gray collar sort of space. And what can one do to help them earn more? So whether they're looking at higher income, higher salary, and what better than placing them internationally, because there's a huge lack of talent or lack of sort of skilled talent internationally, and India has got enough talent pool available. They just need to be fine-tuned, finished, and then deployed internationally. So I think that's the macro thesis that all of us are chasing at BorderPlus right now.
Okay, so Mayank, tell us how BorderPlus streamlines international career opportunities for skilled Indian workers. What is the model? And I believe you're starting with healthcare professionals and nurses. So what are the offerings for them?
So what we're doing, Shruti, there is we are helping these Indian skilled workers, let's say nurses in this sort of case, and we are providing them with a finishing school, which is anywhere between 7 to 8, 9 months long in duration. So a skilled nurse will join into the program, go through the finishing school, and then get trained, and then get the visa and the job opportunity to get deployed internationally. So that's the journey that currently sort of we are taking at BorderPlus. So 7 to 9 month program for these workers, but all of them, Shruti, interestingly, will be linked to a job. So they would have a job on the other side, either in Germany, UK, US, etc. That's the entire sort of play that we are currently doing right now.
All right, so that brings me to my next question. Throw some light on your technology. How are you connecting global employers with skilled talent while ensuring that professionals are equipped for success in their new environments? And what are the checks in place so that it's a win-win for both parties?
It's a very good question, because people usually think that this industry does not have any kind of technology requirement, no technology backbone, etc. But the very fact, Shruti, here is that it's a very, I would say, a lifestyle business for most people. So there's absolutely no technology getting used today. And I think if you look at the ecosystem, you know for a fact that many Indians are going abroad and getting placed and getting deployed internationally. But the usage of technology, the usage of any kind of platform is almost negligible or not there. So I think for us, we are focusing on three broad aspects of technology. The first one is purely how the workflow of the candidate and the recruiters end up getting streamlined for them to find the right candidate and for the candidates to find the right job. We are creating and sort of working on opening up ATS, which is the application tracking system, which will connect the two meaningfully, and you can get matched with the right background in the back data set. And the final one, which we're doing interestingly, which is the place where we are most excited about, is training somebody language and cultural skills require a lot of human intervention. And that's why we are working on creating AI agents and AI bots to provide the right training opportunities without getting constrained by the faculty out there in the market who can train somebody something in German. So I think this bot will create environments, create systems, and help people learn the language in a much faster and the right cost structure.
Absolutely. Mayank, as I mentioned earlier, this fundraise marks BorderPlus's first external funding round. How do you plan to allocate the $7 million raised?
No, I think for us, the focus is going to be, so we are breaking down into two pools of capital within the 7 million. I think one pool of capital, about 60 to 70% of the overall pool, will be kept for operational and operating expenses. So for building the technology team, for building the platform, for creating the right network in both the places. The entire operating part will take about 60 to 70% of this capital pool. The remaining 30%, Shruti, we are keeping it allocated for potential M&As, whether in the destination markets like Germany, UK, US, etc., or in the source market like India, Philippines, Brazil, and Africa. So we'll look at allocating capital for M&A within that 7 million as well. So that's a broad use case for coming in.
So how soon will we hear of an M&A?
So the M&A will, there's still some time that we are talking actively, folks. I think in the next month or two, we should be able to announce the close of a couple of M&As. So I guess this is the first time it's coming on CNBC-TV18.
Yes.
This is something that hopefully around a month or two is what it will take us.
All right, we'll surely keep a track of that. Mayank, but what is the revenue model? How do you plan to make money and gradually turn profitable? Also, if there are some revenue targets and expansion targets that you can share.
Yeah, so the revenue model is very simple. The candidate pays us something, but the key revenue does not come from the candidate payout. Our approach here, Shruti, is that whatever the candidate pays us for going through the language training and the finishing school, we will pay it back. We'll sort of return the money back to the candidate, because we don't want to build a business where we are charging the candidate in the long run. Our broader revenue model is to be, we charge the recruiter or the healthcare institutions who are recruiting candidates from us. So we get the commission from those recruiters directly, and that's what covers the entire cost and the revenue model for us. Outside of that, our cost structure includes the cost of training, the cost of identifying the candidate, and cost of business development in these markets. So we believe that every candidate is going to be profitable. It is about how do we work with those candidates in the long run, and even beyond recruitment, how do we keep them on our payroll, create a large, long-term recurring revenue model.
All right. You know, Bang, with a strong government push to promote skilled worker mobility and the global healthcare sector, like you mentioned, facing acute workforce shortages, clearly there is massive opportunity for BorderPlus, and we wish you the very best for that. Thank you so much for your time on Startup Street.
Thanks.
All right, moving on, a marketplace for home loans, Ambak secured an investment of $7 million in a funding round led by Peak 15 partners. The fintech expects the recent fundraise to enable it to expand their operations across 35 cities and serve 1 lakh customers. That's not all. It also aims to cross the $1 billion in disbursement mark in FY26. This one-year-old company has managed to serve 15,000 plus home buyers and will serve an additional 35,000 plus customers. Joining me now to discuss the future course of action for the company is co-founder and CEO Raghuveer Malik. Raghuveer, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us, on Startup Street. Like I mentioned, you started Ambak only a year ago. If you could sort of take us through what made you embark on this journey of starting Ambak and what was the gap that you saw in the market?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. Look, we're a bunch of people who have worked in financial services businesses and attacked problems related to digital distribution as well as digitization of processes from multiple angles. So my co-founder was the CTO at FreeCharge before this. My other co-founder was the head of offline business for Zest Money. I built a couple of businesses at PB Fintech before this. We embarked upon Ambak because of a simple reason. We knew that affordability of home loans is the key element stopping ownership when it comes to expansion of the mortgage industry in India. And we felt like there is a right time right now to build processes, digital processes, by integrating with the lenders on one side and by working with digital public infrastructure, both on the financial services and real estate elements on the other side, to be able to provide a customer experience which is differentiated and beneficial to the lenders that we work with. So we had started Ambak with this simple goal in mind, to simplify home loans for each and every year.
Absolutely. So all of you coming with like a rich experience in the, fintech space. So as you pointed out, Ambak is streamlining the home loan process. So if you could sort of take us through what you have on offer, more importantly, the efficiencies you're bringing into this process. What's the kind of impact you hope to create?
Sure. So I think the biggest issue in lending today is the connection between 150 plus lenders on one end and customers who have different types of properties and income on the other end. What Ambak is trying to do is form the bridge in the middle. So essentially what we do is we understand the rule engines of the lenders. We have API integrations into several lenders in the country that we work with. On the other hand, what we also understand is how to integrate with fintech players as well as digital public infrastructure to be able to assess an income as well as property fundamentals of a customer to provide the right lending option to that customer. So by doing this, what we essentially impact, ma'am, is the conversion ratio. And by impacting the conversion ratio, on one hand, you impact customer experience. I don't need to go to 5 places to get one loan. And on the other hand, you impact the operating margins of a lender that, I don't need to process 5 cases to approve one loan. That's broadly what Ambak does sitting as a market.
Right. And, in just 12 months, you've served about 15,000 plus home buyers and signed an official partnership with the Delhi Development Authority, right? If you could take us through how you plan to grow this further and, is your model dependent on partnerships like the one you have with the Delhi Development Authority?
So I would not say it's dependent on any one particular authority, but I would say that end of the day, nobody goes to buy a home loan. People go to buy a home. People go to invest in a property. So the builder or the authority or the broker are the primary people associated with the customer trying to purchase the core asset. So to answer the second part of your question more easily, ma'am, we intend to ensure that we expand such partnerships across the country. The first part of the question in terms of how do we plan to grow this? So look, there are 3 elements to our growth strategy right now. Number 1 is providing the option at the customer's footstep. So essentially what Ambak plans to do in the next 1 to 2 years is to expand operations across 35 plus cities. The second element to our growth comes from remaining customer obsessed. What allowed us to get till here is what will allow us to get to the next step, which is ensuring that our loan comparison tools, regional languages, AI bots are improving, day by day. And the third element is to co-create products with the lenders to ensure that we are in a position to provide products that customers demand at the right time, at the right place. So that's broadly how we plan to expand from here.
So that's how you get to the next stage of growth. And I'm assuming that's also how you're going to spend the $7 million that you've raised at this point, right?
Absolutely. I think. Look, this the way that we look at this industry is that unsecured lending, insurance, and these are sectors that we've been associated with as founders and leadership team for a decade plus, have seen a revolution when it comes to customer experience and banking operating margins. Right. Uh, the same has not happened in secured loans. So Ambak intends to invest a lot of money on its AI bots, on its AI agents, right? On building regional languages tools, on ensuring end-to-end processing engines in alliance with the lenders that we work with. So yes, we do plan to invest money in geographical expansion and technology buildups.
Right, absolutely. And if you could just in 10 seconds tell us what are the revenue targets you have for this year?
So we intend to disburse about $1 billion plus of home loans. I think the way that we look at it, our revenue model is to make a commission from the lenders, right? Based on the number of customers that we bring them. What is more important for us, ma'am, though, is to ensure that our customer NPS remains at phenomenal levels. And we are able to ensure a conversion ratio which is better than what the lender can get if they were working with a traditional distributor in the market. And these are the two goals that we aspire for over the next year to 2 years.
Right. All right, Raghuveer, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We're completely out of time, but we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you very much for having me.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, property title search engine platform Landeed backs $5 million in a Series X round led by 10X Founders Fund. We put its co-founder and CEO on the hot seat to know more about the company's growth plans. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Startup Street. Property title search engine platform Landeed has raised $5 million in a Series X funding round led by 10X Founders Fund. Other notable participants in the round include Oliver Young, Paradigm Shift, Pioneer Fund, Jeffrey Epstein, founder of Onboard, and Aaron King, founder of SnapDocs, among many others. Now, this funding is in continuation of Landeed's seed round in 2023. And to talk to us about the future roadmap at Landeed, joining us now is its co-founder and CEO, Sanjay Bandava. Also with me, my colleague Arundhati. Sanjay, welcome to Startup Street. First, tell us what this unconventional X round of funding means. Also, this and your earlier seed round were both oversubscribed with existing investors, along with new investors coming on board. What does this mean for you, and what is the current valuation of the company?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. So Series X was kind of a tongue-in-cheek to say that we don't want to keep on raising forever. I think the best outcome for all stakeholders is if we are able to go public as soon as possible. So at the end of our alphabets, there's a Z. So there's only X, Y, Z. It's kind of like a ticking time clock for my team to show them how far we are away from going public or IPOing. In which case, that's the best outcome for everyone involved, but also somewhat of thinking about how companies today are raising $100 million seed rounds and $200 million pre-seed rounds. So we just thought it was not a Series A, not exactly a seed. It was an investment in optionality, which is AI ML, which didn't have the same traction when we first started the company. So it's a free option to multiply our growth, hence the name Series X.
All right. Hi, Sanjay. Arundhati here. So how close are you to that IPO point?
We're quite some ways away, but we've grown quite fast. So that gives us a lot of optimism. So much of a startup's value is built into the future and not in the past. So it's important to have the right directionality and mindset towards what we're doing. I would say that we internally tell our team that the max we want to do is 3 to 5 years from now as IPO target.
Okay, max 3 to 5 years from now. If you could, sort of quickly tell us about Landeed. What is the pain point that the company solves for, and what are the offerings, and who is your target audience?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we speak internally about the problem we're trying to solve, we talk about cutting the red tape, meaning cutting the bureaucracy and navigating that, which is particularly a big roadblocker when it comes to real estate, right? And when we think about how we want to solve it for real estate, we say, like, look, just like you have a blue tick mark next to your social media profile, we want the same blue tick mark next to properties in India to indicate that they're safe and their title is clean and they're ready for transaction. So our customers include property owners, agents, real estate developers, and legal professionals. So that means helping lawyers get the documents necessary to do a legal opinion, helping banks check the titles of a property so they can lend or give mortgages, helping NBFCs look at the property documentation for dispersals of, let's say, loan against property, and even just agents and brokers to help them pay property electricity bills.
Yeah, Sanjay, let's talk about the fundraise. This new funding lays the foundation for the development of Landeed Labs, a division dedicated to advancing the company's AI and ML learning capabilities. Elaborate on this and tell us what's in the works, any new offerings that are in the pipeline?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first started this business, there was 2 ways to quickly verify titles and say that they're safe globally. One is state-backed titles, which is commonly referred to as conclusive titling. So in places like Australia, Singapore, the government verifies that the seller is actually the owner of the property prior to the purchase. So there's a single title deed. And in places like United States of America or UK, there's something called title insurance, where there's a third-party provider that says this title is clean and therefore a bank can lend. The AI ML aspect of it is very interesting. It now provides a third avenue to quickly verifying titles. So for instance, we launched what we call AI TSR, which means title search reports. So within a few minutes to a seconds, you quickly upload property documentation and it can tell you whether that property is clean or not in terms of title. So this helps you get to that blue tick mark faster and theoretically answer the question, why is it possible that you can buy a property today morning in New York City and sell it tomorrow evening, but it's not possible in India? So AI is a very important, tool and in our toolbox, and something that we think can speed up the diligence processing and therefore allow more people to participate in real estate, whether that's buying, selling, lending, whatever that may be.
Right. Absolutely. And if you could quickly tell us, we're running out of time. You're also looking to hire STEM and technical talent in the country. Is this hiring across multiple levels in the organization and across geographies as well?
Yeah, so we have our office in San Francisco, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. So we typically recruit for the Hyderabad office for the core positions. And yes, we only hire STEM majors for most of our positions. So typically we will not have a BBA or an MBA for product positions even. The reason for that is we tend to think that there's better connect with our engineering team inside the company. And we have a very strong engineering culture here, and that's what we take pride in. So we hire wherever the best talent comes from. So we have people from the US, we have people from Singapore. I'll hire and I'll go wherever the best talent is and bring them to India to solve the problems for us.
All right, on that note, we'll have to wrap up our conversation. But Sanjay, many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today, and wish you the very best with all your growth plans.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You guys have a good day.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. Stay tuned as more news and updates continue right here on CNBC TV 18.